And Cole.
Yep. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It's Jerry.
Hey, Jerry.
Look at Davey. Looking like a DJ.
Whenever you're ready, Davey, I think everyone's in now.
Yo, you logging in?
I'm here.
Okay, hold on. I don't even know how to do that. Hold on. I know how to do it on Zoom. Oh, I know. I don't care.
It's at the bottom. It should be
Using your computer audio.
There you go.
Can you hear me?
I can hear whoever that is.
Yep.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you, David.
Okay, cool. Okay, we ready?
Oh, already, man. Whenever you are.
All right, so welcome to the CCTV thermal presentation. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
That looks good.
Good, man.
Okay. These are the different companies. So these are the different companies we have offering thermal solutions. Today we have some with us. We have Dahua, right? We have somebody from Aircon, Luxride, and Uniview.
And ZK Tech.
Yeah. Okay, first slide. So these are the thermal cameras from Aircon, Dahua, and Uniview. These are the cameras themselves. Here on the screen, you can see the different.
They haven't gotten back to me. I'm a little concerned. They were really good about answering all their emails when it was during the sales process.
Sorry? Okay, so these are all the different cameras we currently, thermal cameras we currently offer for mass detection from Aircon, Uniview, and Newell for single person detection. Here you can see the different specs. You see they're somewhat the same. As you can see here, the thermal resolution is a big part of this. Compare this from top of the line, something from Uniview or Aircon. 400 by 300, something like Newell's that only detects one person at a time, so 80 by 60. This is very important because the higher the the thermal resolution, the more detailed and the more people can detect at once. Also on these, most of these cameras also have accuracy pretty close, plus or minus 0.3 to the top of the line UniView is 0.1. All of these can output ONVIF also. So if you connect to an NVR, if you want to record a video from that camera, you could always connect it through their own manufacturer or third-party manufacturer through the ONVIF. And depending on the lens required, most of these come with fixed lens. The last Aerocon one is a varifocal. That one, right here, you can see it's 2.8 to 12 millimeter lens. The other ones are fixed lens, and the response time are all pretty equal across the board. These are the full packages. So for the Aerocons and the UniView, the black body is required. The black body is just a thing for keeping everything in check, all the thermals, making sure it's accurate enough to detect the correct temperature. These are the different setups. The Aerocon one, you could actually wall mount. Not only can you do like the UniView on the tripod, but you could also ceiling mount it and wall mount it. The one, that one also is only tripod, but it can also do, it fits also standard camera wall mount. So this one can be pole mounted, and it also can be with the back box. So it behaves basically like a standard IP camera. And for the small Newell, the Newell is a little bit more of a closed NVR. This is the whole Newell setup. It's just this monitor and the screen. The camera actually goes on the other side of the monitor, so somebody like a security guard can be keep an eye on the monitor and check any incoming person. We also offer access control with thermals. All of these are non-touch thermal detectors. So as you can see here, we offer from AccuBox, Volite, UniView, ZK Access, and Orion. That's a new one. All of these run Linux except for the AccuBox, which runs Android, which is a little bit more customizable. Resolution are across the board except for the UniView. That one has two megapixel cameras instead of just one. The distance, that one is also a little bit, it also takes into account. As you can see here, most of them have pretty close range of temperature detection, but the ones that do have a little bit, if you want to go as long as you can without any contact, you could see that at the end that's ZK and Orion. Those are pretty, that range for detection is pretty long. But also, as you can see here in the accuracy does suffer. So the farther you get, the less accurate it becomes. Response time for all these are about the same, and it just depends really on where you're gonna set up. So the AccuBox ones and the access controls, those can be flush mounted or wall mounted. The UniView one, as you can see here, the UniView, the first access control, the CW180, that one's a full enclosed system by itself. It comes with a monitor, a camera, and an NVR that comes in an enclosed box. So no mounting, you just have to set it up and roll wherever you want it. Temperature detect. The UniView access control, that one also can be not only flush mounted and wall mounted. That one can be put on a stand, or they have another part number which can be added on to the side of a metal detector. The smaller ones, kiosk, those are the Orion and ZK Access. Those can be put on top of a desk or on top of the next to an entrance to allow gates through, or gates open or gates closed depending on the temperature. Anybody have any questions?
I have a question. I know that well, I was told that these devices can send a kind of alert or alarm when they detect that someone is above the certain limits of temperature. But what about to record the person? For instance, if I wanted to have this thing in an entrance, how can I know, for instance, who was the person that was out of the range of temperature? There is any kind of recording or something like that?
So for that instance, you would actually look at the alerts. So something like the UniView CW180, that one would record the temperature and the video. So once you get an alert, you will use the alert as a timestamp, go back to the NVR, and look back at the playback during that time.
Oh, so actually there is a recording.
On the UniView, yeah. And any since all of these are OnVIF compatible, so like the Box, Bolide, ZK Axis, and Orion, those don't do on-system recording. But since they are OnVIF, whenever any of these systems do send you an alert, you could just, if you have it connected to an NVR, you could go back to the NVR, use the alert as a timestamp, and bring up the recording of when that alert was triggered.
Okay, I see. Okay. Thank you.
Anything else?
You mentioned using the like ZK Access to go back on your NVR and look at the recording. Can you tie the cameras on those devices into your NVR as well?
No, so all of these you can tie to third-party NVRs except for the ZK Access. ZK Access uses its own proprietary PC software. That one's very close. So for all these access controls, except for the ZK, you can integrate to other NVRs.
All right, thank you.
Anything else?
Yeah, so I heard that the cameras of the black boxes are actually more sensitive than the others, and most of these temperature accuracies are under completely perfect conditions. So in most environments, you're going to have air conditioning vents, you're going to have airflows, maybe fans. How do you control for those type of environmental factors on these type of cameras?
So that's what the black box is for. So on these environmental factors, this one, they actually come with a few recommendations of, say, if somebody comes out, they have to spend a few minutes inside. And also because these don't use black boxes, that's why you have to, it's person by person. And then that's why you also have to get such close distance to allow that variance of temperature not to change that much. So the ones using the black box are the ones with can mass detect temperature, and they need that black box to differentiate from the atmosphere. But since this one, you're putting a palm or a face so close to the camera and to the temperature sensor itself, there's not really too much distance from you and the camera itself.
How many of these devices can you have on one system? For say, if I have like 5 doors and access control, and I want the same database on them.
Oh, so you wouldn't actually have one central database. You would have a central management program. You can have as many as you can, say, of the AccuBox. They would all connect back to the central management software. So whenever you need to access the logs or alerts from someone, just open up that software, log into the different systems and pull up the alerts from there.
Okay, thank you.
I'm assuming these units are waterproof?
Yes. They're all IP rated, splash-proof, except for the small, for that ZK Access. And of course, the UniView and Orion, those are all for indoor use. But the AccuBox, the UNV access control, those are all outdoor weatherproof.
The reason I ask is if someone does come up with a high temperature, wouldn't it be prudent to clean the unit before the next person comes up to it?
Yeah, they could definitely take a clean, and they just can't take a big splash. So you could definitely use on any of these systems. You could definitely use any type of disinfectant on them, as long as it's not a huge, as long as you're not dousing in it.
Thank you.
How does bright lights and things like that affect this?
So most of these systems have WDR built in them.
Okay, but I'm talking about like if there's a bright light in the field of view, is that going to skew the calibrations because of the light being?
No, because unless you're holding the light very close, no. If it's in the ceiling, it won't, because the distance you have to get from the screen of these is too, it's very short.
So is there a directionality on? So what I've heard is also that the eyes, the corner of the eyes, are probably most accurate rather than the rest of the body. And if people are wearing glasses or such, there can be hats, things like that. There can be problems as well. How do you deal with that?
So you have to usually. The best way to deal with that would just be to remove the obstruction. So before, when passing in, just make sure they basically wearing, they take off all hats, they take off all glasses, just make sure they're wearing the mask. And as long as they have that, they should be able to do fine. But yeah, if you're gonna have something blocked in the way, it's better just to remove it before you actually do the detection.
All right, so these are best then when they're one person at a time rather than sort of like the airport scenario where you have a whole bunch of people coming through a hallway at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. So these are for closed offices and corridors, one person at a time, exit and entrance. If you want to do mass temperature scanning, that's where the big cameras would come in with the black boxes. So that with these cameras with black boxes, those take temperatures throughout the body. So even with the hat or sunglasses, they wouldn't. You would still get a good read on them.
What does a good read mean? I mean, that's within plus or minus what?
So a good read would be that even if they have a, not that it's accurate, because yeah, all these cameras are accurate, but it just depends on how accurate it's going to be throughout their body. So these cameras are strong enough to go through. They don't take. They're not so sensitive to like clothes, to glasses, to hats, because they get a good general. They get a good general temperature because they have your whole upper body or your whole head to work with, compared to the smaller ones where they're more sensitive to glasses because you're only basically showing the front face.
So how does this differentiate? These cameras are dealing with your exterior temperature, not your core temperature.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine that there's going to be false negatives and false positives.
There is, if they're set up incorrectly. So a good rule of thumb is when a person comes in, have them set up in a closed, not too close to the exit, so that when they're not being directly hit by the sun. So let me show you. So in this AirCon demonstration, it's if you're gonna have one, always have it enclosed. These can't go in anything out like outside. Also, it's a good rule of thumb to before you actually take your temperature, wait a few minutes inside so it could regulate somewhat.
Right. The environment has to be stable. So in other words, you can't have it like the exterior glass door, for instance. The glass is going to heat. You have that as your background. That's gonna affect the
Exactly.
calibration of it.
Same if you have it pointing it to like to an exit. So these, as long as they're far away from. Hmm?
Not on the Aircon it won't. So because the Aircon's looking for, because the AI analytics is only looking for the forehead. You can have a cup of coffee at your mouth, that's 110, 120 degrees, and it would still not trigger because it's looking for forehead.
Okay.
So, yeah, the Aircon unit calibrates off the black body and is looking for the facial analytics. So it's a more accurate detection without having a lot of that false ambience around objects that could trigger it. You could have a cup of coffee, windows, anything that's thermal heat related, and it will ignore it all. It's only looking for face.
So I imagine it's more expensive than the others.
Maybe I can't specify to that, but I know the solution works well.
Okay, Thomas. Do you mind going on ahead and presenting some airplanes?
I will move that. Ernie, is this the correct account to make presenter here? All right, we're gonna have a presentation from AV CoStar next. Ernie's gonna hop on and show us some of their products.
Awesome. Can you guys see my screen okay?
No.
Okay,
We can hear you, but can't see you.
There we go. All right. Can you guys see that now?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Ernie.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Just a quick introduction. My name is Ernie Ace Balayo. I'm the Regional Sales Manager here for Aircon Vision CoStar for the LA and Orange County territories. I also wanted to introduce my director. He's on the call with me as well, Steve McGlasson, who oversees the entire Western region. And I believe Travis with Badger Reps is also on the line with us as well. You guys want to just say a few things, if you introduce yourself, if you don't mind. Travis? You guys hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, Travis might need to unmute himself.
Okay.
I can hear you fine though.
No problem. Well, I'll continue, guys. So anyways, I just wanted to first thank you to CCTV team for hosting us webinar, and obviously get the opportunity for us to show you our thermographic system. So let's get going. So let me tell you a little bit about the company. We're a security camera manufacturer based in Southern California. Our headquarters is located in Glendale, and we manufacture a majority of our cameras in Duarte, California. Our company was founded in 2003. We're proud to have more than 70% of our product lineup is made in the USA. Products that qualifies for NDAA, BAA, also known as Buy American Act. We provide local sales, design, training, and tech support here in Los Angeles and other surrounding territories. And upon request, we can do private trainings or host webinar sessions very similar to this. If you wish to dive deeper with us on a particular application after this or anything following up, let us know. I'd be more than happy to. All right, so let's go to the next thing here. Talk a little bit more about the pandemic and the cameras and the technology and how it's currently being utilized. Here's some screenshots that I took recently of released U.S. FDA guidelines for the food industry. This was released earlier on April 2020. The guidelines emphasized in the article is that the FDA is actually taking steps to help expand the availability of thermographic systems, and believes the policy being set in these guidance will help address the public urgent concerns of COVID, right? The COVID pandemic. Right here as well in section B, the FDA acknowledges that these thermographic systems are not intended for medical use. This is essentially by taking a risk-based approach and clarifying policies, these products are elevated temperature sensing devices. They're intended for use in the diagnosis or prevention of disease or fevers. So remember, this is not a medical device. This means If you're a food distributor, it's required for the US FDA to deploy thermographic screening policies to scan for elevated temperatures before entering these types of facilities. In short, in order to continue operation before the FDA approves your license to be able to operate again, these facilities must go through an approval process ensuring these temperature policies are being addressed for the safety of public health. So I believe once we get past this pandemic and we start to open back up as a country, I think we'll see some certain measures being taken to address this further and the prevention of this virus, obviously, right? I think it'll be a slow crawl back to our offices. So think of this device as like a metal detector. It's a device that's going to help you screen further. Our goal with this system is to alert, to notify, and screen further. This thing is not going to tell you whether you have a fever or you have COVID or anything like that. This is just going to tell exactly your exterior ambient temperature on your skin. Right? So the typical applications these cameras can be deployed at are your schools, airports, customs and immigration checkpoints, transportation stations, and of course, healthcare facilities. All right. So here's a quick little video voiced over by yours truly, and kind of giving you a breakdown to the thermographic system and its capabilities. And if you have any questions, obviously, we can go into it a little bit deeper here a little bit. But here we go.
ERCOT Vision Co-Star is proud to showcase our latest intelligent thermal imaging radiometric detection and thermal measurement system. The system is a non-contact temperature measurement system based on AI analytics software suitable for detecting individuals with high temperatures. The system consists of the thermographic camera, the black box calibration device, and the control software, which is actually optional. From this image, the camera shows you the ability to capture and measure temperatures of an individual or multiple individuals from a distance. Using an example of a standard standalone configuration. Using the camera's internal analytics paired with a black box calibration device, the system produces a visible light with thermal data overlaid on the image. Within a predefined alert area, the target exceeds a specified temperature, a virtual box will turn red, flash the capture value on the screen, thus alerting the admin. The system is ONVIF Profile G compliant to ensure easy operation and integration with third-party VMS platforms already on the market. Tying the system to an NVR will allow the user to have access to network operation, alarm, and notifications. The advanced configuration consists of the video analytics appliance, which allows for facial recognition, thermal tracking, historical data, and more. As an example of this, because the analytics carries facial recognition and historical data of the temperature of that individual, the AI can alert or provide a snapshot of possible employees showing a rise in elevated temperature over a span of several days or weeks. Here's a simple diagram showing you the mounting distances, the recommended mounting height, suggested angle for capturing faces, and the field of view you can expect to capture at your point of entry. And of course, the calibration device must be within the field of view of the camera. So what applications can we utilize these cameras best? Think of location to have a lot of foot traffic. These areas are your main entrances, employee entrances, entrance into a major lobby, customs check in an airport, you name it. There's a lot of places you can put these cameras. Here are some final quick notes. Please remember this camera technology is not a medical device, but a part of a holistic system for screening. Our goal here is to identify, notify, and screen further. Thank you again for your time.
All right. Hope that's all right with you guys. Hope the audio wasn't too low. It seemed like it was somewhat low. So let's introduce you to the camera real quick. As you can see here, the camera carries two sensors, a thermal imager, a varifocal lens, a 1080p optical imager, wide dynamic range, IP66, and everything else, right? The thermal accuracy and everything like that, the response time, PoE device. See? We'll go to the next thing here. This is the, oh, too far back. There we go. The reference body, this is going to be your unit that's going to keep a reference in regards to what the AI is picking up and as far as the thermal unit is picking up as far as a reference point. And again, you got to see here that it is powered at 110, 220, 24 DC. Just heads up there. All right. So again, the camera can read up to 30 faces in an area, and the lens can adjust to how wide or narrow the facial recognition pickup needs to be. Again, the camera is not a medical device, and again, please refrain from using terms such as coronavirus detector or fever detector. This device will not detect any diseases, just the temperatures. Again, the screening process for a food distributor will be different from an office, or let's say different from a healthcare facility. So here's an example, actually, what we're currently seeing here is where the customer got really creative. The camera is currently mounted on light stands, which gives the end user the ability to quickly move and redeploy the camera and black body very quickly, just in case they didn't like the deployment right in the first go around, right? The screening for individuals is actually a passive process, which means you never have to stop walking. You keep walking through, and the admin will be prompted with alerts and direct you further for screening or rescreening the individual again. Please note, the camera is not intended for outdoor use. Although the camera is IP66 rated and can operate in a wide range of temperatures. It can operate down to -22 degrees and as high as 140 degrees. But again, if you're going to be operating in that kind of thing, it's going to throw off the temperature if you're going to be operating well above 104 degrees, right? However, if you must mount outside, we highly suggest that you mount the camera and black body calibrator in an awning covering or inside a man-made shed to ensure the highest degree of accuracy. So in closing, again, the camera is a screening device. The screening device supports ONVIF S&G. The camera comes with a standard 2-year warranty where other competitors typically come with 1. The system can be ran as a standalone product, or it can be ran as an entire system with multiple units up to 64 under a CMS. The system can also comes with free CMS software, up to 5 clients. The system supports third-party NVR, VMS systems that are already on the market. It also can provide you the SDKs if you wish to do your own advanced programming and integration on custom platforms. So with that, feel free to reach out to cctv.net or myself and my team if you wish to find out more about the technology. We can absolutely do a deeper dive and demonstration. We're available to provide these upon request. Additionally, we'd be happy to help consult and design systems as well as provide training for integrators, your customers, just based on whatever applications you guys run into. I know these things are very new, but we would be happy to help you tackle it. Again, my name is Ernie Ace Valayo with Aircom Vision. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you so much, Ernie. That was great.
Yeah, Ernie, this is Boris. Let me ask just 2 questions. First, you mentioned that many of your cameras made in USA. Is that one as well or not?
This camera here is not made in the USA. This camera is actually made in an OEM partner with us for 16 years. It is manufactured in China. As far as what we currently see, China seems to be the only manufacturer of these kind of higher end level thermographic cameras that are out on the market with this kind of accuracy.
Sure, and maybe I missed that. I joined a little bit later, but not everything in China is the same. So NDAA compliance, that is compliant with NDAA.
That's correct.
It is, okay. And one more question. I know it seems to be that nobody is currently compliant with FDA 510K. Are you planning to apply for such certification?
We are currently going through the process as we speak. I believe, Steve, if you want to give us an update, I don't know if you haven't heard anything new, but that was the last update that I heard, is that we are going through.
That's fine. We'll follow up with each and every participant, so we'll move along. So, but those actually 2 questions that I'm going to ask every manufacturer. Thank you very much. And Jack?
So our camera line, since we're working with them, it's not still on any of the current ban lists by the U.S. government that they provided. So we are free and clear of any of those other issues that may have come up as well.
Great. Thank you, Travis. Thank you, Ernie. That was a great presentation from AV.
I had a quick question.
No
Is that camera Buy America? Is it compliance? Can that camera?
That is not a BAA compliant camera, no.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
No, but it's not on the ban list. You can. So right now they're pretty much installing what they can anywhere. So as long as we're not on the list still, they're looking at them. So I guess right now it's not a guarantee, but at least it's not on the list. So it's a step further in the right direction on that respect.
Thank you, Travis. I'm going to open the presentation up now to Vera with LuxRide so that they can have an opportunity to show us their products.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Vera.
Do you see my screen? Is it
Yep,
there?
you're
All right, guys. We know you may have everything you need today, and most likely already working with other solution providers. And I know some of you are looking for elevated skin temperature detection solutions, like other system integrators all over the globe today. And you may notice we've modified our language as we believe the skin most accurately describes what the technology is measuring. And so I wanted to talk with you because we're finding now it is a great time to take a step and review the existing options to see if there are better alternatives available on the market. And when the time comes for you to think about these applications, you will know that we're there. Like I said, my name is Vera, and I'm the head of marketing with LuxRide. We present Evo Software, an open platform for video and security management. Our platform provides a cost-efficient expert solution for elevated skin temperature monitoring applications, as well as a tool for general video and security management. We do things a bit differently, and I would like to share how that is with you. Have you ever had any concerns about your ability to deliver a high-quality solution for the elevated skin temperature detection while still fitting into tight budgets? The situations, when enterprise solutions are an overkill, but other options are just a headache to install and maintain. And then it's even a greater frustration to experience those incomplete, crude, or simply scant ones that are widely available nowadays. LuxRide Evo comes as a platform for comprehensive solutions with advanced capabilities for contactless temperature monitoring and proactive measuring scenarios. We are dedicated to easy and fast installation and maintenance. You will save time and resources with a lightweight and quick to deploy package. And you won't experience notorious and cumbersome external software dependencies, but rather simple, straightforward setup process. We make servicing easy with an advanced site health and maintenance toolset supported by self-monitoring watchdog feature. Elevated skin temperature is often monitored by ordinary people, and even professional operators. They make mistakes. And that's why we choose to deliver a foolproof viability with separate monitoring and configuration applications, which have a modern and neat user interface. And being an expert and a long-term video security management provider for critical applications, we refined Evo to employ a full set of advanced enterprise capabilities, including those for zero to no time system reaction and no system downtime. So in a nutshell, Evo software fetches video streams, events, and metadata directly from thermal cameras to be processed. Then it executes automated scenarios and distributes the video along with the alarms to the thick, thin, and mobile client applications accordingly. So thermal imaging is obviously not 100% accurate when it comes to measuring body temperature. However, prioritizing staff safety and the ability to swiftly screen people for fever symptoms and remotely, it's its most significant advantage. So the staff members will be saved by not contacting these screening targets. Let's have a look at how it works. For instance, as a system of LuxRide is deployed in combination with Dahua thermals. So the Evo server records streams, normal and thermal, and metadata for further review as a proof or evidence, and then sends over the video feeds to the client. A complete set of integrated events and metadata can trigger configurable automatic and or semi-automatic actions. These events typically include absolute temperature reads, over and under threshold temperatures, as well as blackbody malfunction notifications. As a common practice procedure, upon receiving an over threshold temperature event, operators can fill in some notes right on the spot, like you can see in the slide as a bookmark, or do it later after fulfilling priority emergency procedures. Automatic scenarios include not only standard alarm notifications like highlighting the target cameras on the maps, on the screens, or putting them directly to the screen, but just to name a few, you can call immediately for medical stuff by triggering external systems of all kinds, send mobile notifications and emails with or without snapshots, then identify persons with face recognition software and automatically restrict their door access rights, for example. Also generate, display, and distribute real-time and retrospective reports with statistics. And of course, block doors, gates, or turnstiles. Both video feed and event notifications are available in the Evo Monitor application and in Evo Mobile application, meaning that personnel in charge will be notified and can monitor the situation in real time, remotely, or on the go. So we don't just offer a measurement tool, but an easy, comfortable to use, ready to go, proactive, complete solution with customizable reactions. Are you tired of trying to figure out a proper set of plugins or add-ons? Evo provides a simple yet powerful feature-rich software package with all the tools already built in. We're also open-minded and nimble to adapt. And being an independent open platform, Luxrite Evo is a non-vendor specific tailored solution, thanks to our easy and direct customer vendor contact for decision making. We're an experienced engineering team able to deliver professional technical support with a direct link to 100% in-house development. For system integrators who are looking for elevated skin temperature detection solutions, Luxrite Evo is an open expert video and security management platform that just works. Unlike other video management systems out there, we're not about fitting into the posh, hype, buzzword brand company, but we're here to support those who move the security industry forward, those hardworking ones, by providing them with the ultimately efficient, robust, and reliable tool for their real-life everyday use. Well, everything always works in PowerPoint. You need to get, try, and experience. Thanks for listening, and thank you guys at CCTV.net for giving us this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Vera. Are there any questions for Vera before I move this over to our next presenter?
Vera, I got a quick question. I'm assuming when you're setting up who gets the alert for the high temperatures, that goes by either the user's group level, or can you specify specific by the user, or even a time schedule for who gets the alert?
All three. Depends on your use case. So you can go for specific users and or user groups, plus based on a timetable.
Yeah, Vera, one
Also
question.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. So on your Daho integration, do you connect directly to camera? I know most of their solutions require their standalone NVR, what they call DHI-NVR 5216. So when integrating their thermographical systems, do you connect directly to cameras or to the NVR?
We connect directly to the cameras.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Vera. That was a great presentation.
Thank you, guys.
Up next, we have Sophia from Dahua. Sophie, you there?
I'm here.
Great.
Hold on one second. Let me see if I can share my slides. Are you able to see my slides?
No, I can't see your slides at this time.
Unfortunately not.
Jack, are you able to provide the slides that I gave you yesterday?
Yes, I am.
Not sure why the computer is not letting me.
I understand. Just bear with me for one moment.
Guys, while you're looking for the slides, the black body piece, where do you connect it? It's a standalone device. It needs to be connected to the camera.
It's a standalone device that has to be also bought with the thermal camera.
So it's somehow connected to the camera, right?
Correct. Let me see if I can try again sharing the content.
My download of the PowerPoint just completed, so I can put it up now. If wait,
is it showing?
Yes, it's showing on your side. Excellent.
Okay, perfect.
All right, take it away, Sophia.
All right, perfect. Well, hello everyone. Thank you for your time today, and I thank cctv.net for organizing this webinar on our thermal solutions. My name is Sophia Cho. I'm the Senior Distribution Sales Manager at Dahua. Unfortunately, all of our West Coast salespeople are on PTO this week, so I'm actually filling in for them today. Dahua has been in business over 20 years, but for the US market, I would have to say it's been about 6 years now, and I've been on board for about 4 years. And I've been in the industry about 19 years now. So let's start with the slides. Do you see the next slide?
Yep, it's clear.
Perfect. Okay, so first of all, I do need to state that our thermal temperature monitoring solution is not FDA cleared or approved. The solution should not be solely or primarily used in diagnosis of any type of diseases, including the most famous one, COVID-19. So please, please, please note that. Now, our temperature monitoring solution is non-contact based, which means operators do not have to be near people being screened, and it's limiting exposure to security personnel. It can provide a time-efficient way to assess potential high temperatures of large groups of people without personal contact. This type of solution is ideal for deploying at employee entrances to monitor potential sick workers that have elevated body temperatures that enter buildings, and also monitor someone that maybe develops a fever throughout the day. So when you purchase the thermal camera, you will need to purchase the black body unit with it. The black body monitors temperatures of high accuracy of plus or minus 0.54 degrees Fahrenheit. Also, remote viewing is also free from our DMSSS app. And you can also capture a person's identity and automatically with their facial detection via our NVR. Let's see. And also using our mobile app and recorder, it will send live alerts to both of them, including an automatic recording of temperatures that exceed the threshold that was set up by the operator. So looking at the next slide. Our thermal solution screens multiple people from a long distance up to 15 feet, and it monitors up to 30 people per second, which is much faster than any handheld devices that are out there. The great part is that you do not need to stop, pose for the camera, nor remove any accessories like, glasses, face masks, and any accessories. Also, like if you see on the bottom note, it's noted again, our thermal temperature solution is not FDA cleared or approved, so please, please note that. Also, when you see the pictures that are on this slide, if you look to the left side, it's our 16-channel NVR. You can connect up to 6 thermal cameras on this NVR. And then to the right side, you see the thermal camera and the black body, and the specs are also listed there. We recommend that you use our tripods and brackets for the thermal and black body, although it is optional. You will need one tripod and one bracket for the thermal and the black body. So please purchase the quantity of 2 of them. Also, when you install the products, please note that the distance and the height measurements are very important. So if you look at the diagram below, for the camera height, it is 6.5 feet, and the black body is lower of 5.9 feet. The thermal camera and the black body has to be like facing each other. And as you can see, the distance needs to be 9.8 feet. For calibration, the calibration will take around 20 minutes before you can use the thermal so that it's ready and it's warmed up. Some of the key VMS softwares that we're also compatible it includes Milestone, Genetec, Vigilon, Axon, ISS, Exact, and some others as well. The thermal camera is also under our ePOE umbrella technology, which also provides long distances for transmission. This is all I have today. I just had some core slides of the thermal. Did anybody have any questions?
About the black body?
Yes.
Is it physical cable? I'm trying to understand the installation.
There's a cable that connects to the thermal.
So from the black body, I need to run cable to the camera.
Correct.
Got it. Thank you.
All right, great. If there are no more questions.
I had one. You had mentioned that it is Milestone and Avigilon. Will the camera send alerts to those platforms?
I believe so. I mean, if it's fully, these are the ones that were listed our company, so I am assuming that they are. So the alerts and everything, and it's OMBIV compliant, so yes.
Any more questions?
The height have to be exact. You've got 6.5 and 9.8, or is there some kind of tolerance with them?
I would say try to have them as accurate as possible because our company has stressed that it's very important. So I would keep it within those measurements.
Yeah, bad angles and bad positioning have been that it's really bad for these thermal cameras. So it's got to be pretty accurate.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Sophia.
Thank you.
One more question for Sophia.
Of course.
Do we need to have the NVR if this camera is going to be connected to an existing like Milestone or a Vigilon?
I mean, if you're just using the thermal and you already have an existing application with Milestone, you do not need our NVR. But if you're going to be using a full end-to-end solution with all of our product portfolio, then this is the only 16-channel NVR that's approved to work with our thermals because it has a lot of AIs like, facial detections, also many more AI functions within the camera and the NVR itself.
So if the customer is just looking for high temperature captures, not facial recognition, none of that other stuff, do I need the NVR?
You do not.
Got it. Thank you.
Another question: how does motion affect these? Like the speed, directionality.
I mean, some of the videos that I've seen, it's been pretty accurate. If you need some more detailed information about, of that, then we also have also other webinars, and then I can also connect you to some of our TCs, and then you could probably ask them some more detailed information on that.
Yes, Sophia, this is Boris. Yeah, we'll make sure to connect everybody with all manufacturers. So we'll make sure to connect the proper person at Daho to answer your questions in more details.
Perfect. Thank you, Boris.
Thank you, Sophia.
Question on heat. How does heat affect these?
Obviously, this is so it's for indoor application, but it's because of the black body, it's very accurate with detecting only human bodies. So like if you have like a hot cup drinking coffee, hot chocolate, whatever it is, it only will detect the human body temperature and whatever the threshold was set for, within the system. It'll only detect that body heat and set that threshold or alarms or alerts.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Sophia. It was a great presentation.
Thank you.
I'm gonna pass this over to Gil from ZK now.
Okay, I'm now the presenter.
Yep, there you go.
Good morning, everybody. Let me get my slides going. All right, can everybody see me?
Can't see your slides yet now.
All right, let me escape out of that. It just said I was the presenter. Let's see what's going on here.
You have to share your content and select your PowerPoint.
Sorry, I've got to go up here and say share. Share content. That makes sense. Okay. This guy. Did that get it?
It's connecting. There we go. I can see you.
Okay, very good. Let's try this again. Okay, so, well, it's afternoon now, so good afternoon from my time stamp point of view. This is Gil Deliso. I'm Vice President of Sales for ISM West. We're a rep firm that covers 17 states, Western U.S. for ZK Tech. We were one of their first reps, and we're very happy to be part of their team. I'll be talking about the SpeedBase Plus series, which is part of their access control reader complement. Let me get this thing off the screen. There we go. Primarily focusing on the two products that you see right here, the SF1008 and the 1005. Those are the products that also include thermal detection capabilities along with face and body temperature, mask and body temperature detection. They are touchless face and palm readers as well. So just a real quick pass over who ZK Techo is, so you know why we feel like a credible partner in this part of the business. We are a global leader in biometric technology, holding a number of patents. Product is engineered and developed globally in about 14 centers, sold in 180 countries, and we have one of the most comprehensive line of access control products, everything from standard ProxGuard kits through turnstiles, walk-through metal detectors, and even baggage screening product line as well. So let me move on to the meat of the product here, the presentation. So what we believe is the important factor in this whole process of screening people coming in and out of buildings, why is body temperature detection in the news, and why we feel that mask detection is equally important in terms of reopening facilities and minimizing risk, both in the current situation and in any possible resurgence of the pandemic later on. The whole point really is how do you safely reopen and instill confidence in all the stakeholders that are involved in a facility, employees, customers walking in, the faculty at a college, students, etc. So most of the existing systems, fire suppression, etc., those things can't do the job. There's got to be something a little bit more to provide some sort of credible reassurance to people. And a number of consultants, public policy advisors think that mask detection is important because a lot of local jurisdictions and company policy is moving in the direction, as has been discussed here, that you need to have a mask on. You're not just protecting yourself, but you're protecting other people from the possible spread, even if you're asymptomatic. So temperature really just tells you who's sick, who's got a fever, and obviously you want to exclude them and you want to get some alarm information about them, but you also want to be able to maintain any kind of facility-related policy that says if you're not wearing a mask and we ask you to, then we want an alert or we want to pull you aside. Or if you've got a mask on, then that's sort of part of your credentialing, and that becomes an effective way to screen. So we believe there's the two critical factors we need to get to the point where a facilities operator can comfortably manage getting the people involved in using their facility back there. If they don't feel comfortable, they don't feel there's a reliable and credible way of of dealing with this either fever detection or the mass detection, they're not really likely to come back. So that's going to affect places like restaurants, etc. So what we do with our system is we go after both face detection and the mass detection as both screening functions and as part of the identification process, because the ZK software allows you to, and the devices allow you to associate a prox card number or user identification number with their screening by associating with a card when they can swipe a card and then proceed to process fever detection or mass detection, or make them make these two elements the total process of authentication. But we can give you that information either as a standalone device. You can operate as a single door standalone device and put out a local alarm that's audible from the device, or trigger an external device to turn on a strobe, so you don't have to have somebody standing there to watch, and you don't have to be close enough to do anything. They can be alerted by some of the third-party device. Or we can talk directly to your access control system and turn over the user card information to that through WeGAN, and now you have a record of somebody by name, by employee identification number, who's there presenting themselves, who's got a bad card read, or fever's been detected, or they're not wearing their mask that day. So you've got that log event in your existing system, and the ZK SpeedFace readers allow you to add our screening device, our SpeedFace Plus reader, to anybody else's access control system, and manage those events and manage those identifications in an ongoing basis, and make them part of that third-party system. So there's no need for you to have anything running on the back end. If you choose to use our software, the biosecurity software, then you can have that happen directly within our software. And as with the other ONVIF applications here, you can bring in camera video to record those access control events. So the way we look at this whole process is we look at it from the point of view of access control as opposed to screening large groups of people. We believe what's most important is getting folks at screening at the point of entry rather than detecting in a crowd. And there's some conditions there. So as has been discussed, there's body temperature surveillance. You've got black body devices, thermal cameras, video recorder, and potentially tying up manpower, watching software that's running the facial recognition or thermal analytic applications. Typically, large groups of people, either already inside the facility, or entering or coming close to the entry point. So that's labor intensive, it's hardware intensive, and there's not really any direct integration with access control. The way we look at it, the way we approach this application is, if you can integrate all those requirements into a reader and get the person who's approaching the facility or wants to enter the facility before they come in, and screen them individually and do it quickly and with no contact to a device, then you've really simplified the whole process. And that's kind of what our aim was in terms of developing these two products. So I'm just running a video right now. Hopefully everybody can see this. And you can see these folks are just walking in, screening temperature from the palm, or recognizing the palm as the ID, and the face is being scanned with the mask on. And access is denied because they aren't wearing a mask at the time they're supposed to be. And this is access denied with an alarm notice for high body temperature, even though they have a mask on. So we allow you to screen in an and/or kind of situation. You can say the user's got to present their prox card, and then we start the process because now we've identified who they are. Or it could be a standalone device on a wall, just screening anybody that comes into the facility, like a restaurant or a hospital lobby, and you can decide whether they can come in or not based on temperature or a mask. The ease here is that it's connected directly to your access control system or a standalone. So you've got a number of options by using ZK SpeedFace Plus readers, because you can take direct contact closure information out, trigger alarms. You can talk directly to your access control system, or you can work with our software, and you can also use it in connection with our software and have a complete solution. Our SpeedFace readers can be integrated to turnstiles. They can be put on a wall. They're very flexible. The question came up a couple times here about ambient temperature in the room or the environment. Our recommendations are, if you can't control, if the temperature around the area of the device varies by more than plus or minus 5 degrees, then the accuracy is going to be affected. And that's one of the reasons why we believe that reading body temperature with the user close is going to give you the best accuracy. It's also going to be at the point of entry to the building. And so this makes it really ideal as an access control screening device. So the SpeedFace 1008 has an 8-inch display. The 1005 has a 5-inch display. They're both functionally absolutely the same. Neither of these devices are considered waterproof because that's a third-party camera that's been attached to our device. Body temperature detection range is 0.6 degrees Fahrenheit at 18 inches, and we can store, as an access control device, up to 50,000 faces. The templates are stored in the device, and 5,000 palms. There was a discussion here about how bright of a light is going to affect the accuracy of the temperature detection or the facial recognition. Our system uses both IR and visible light, and we can operate into up to 50K lux, which is glaring sun directly into the imager on the device, and it'll still be accurate. So we allow TCP/IP connection over the network if you're going to manage it remotely. WeGAN inputs and outputs, so you can have an external card reader talk to this and get it started to identify somebody. 45 control, there's an option for Wi-Fi for the device if you can't find a network connection. Infrared light camera for the accuracy in terms of facial recognition. A very powerful anti-spoofing engine, which means that somebody can't present a photograph of themselves or somebody else in order to get in. And it's got direct control and access to, or so direct control and inputs and outputs for door locks, and exit button and auxiliary outputs. One of the other things that ZK has tried to do in terms of allowing options to implement this either as a standalone detector device only with no real access control functions is that we're working on integration with other large access control manufacturers. So like this becomes an agnostic device. It can go anywhere on anybody else's system with sort of hardware level integration, but we're also working with to create full integration with the Linnell and AMAG systems as well. So if you have customers out there that have those kinds of systems, those brands of systems, we can also give you, with a release that's coming out in about 5 to 6 weeks, software level integration so that this becomes a really seamless part of those larger systems. The question also was raised here, I noted, somebody said, how many devices can you put on a system? You can use our SpeedFace readers on any system up to the capacity of that system's ability to handle card readers. On our own system, I think, with our software, I think the limit is around 8,000 readers. We can manage all that because we're managing the data. The templates are all residing on the device itself, and so there's not a lot of neither network traffic or database management that's got to be done. You can remotely enroll the user's face by simply importing a photo of that person into the database, and then it works on learning how to identify that person in real time. So, again, our approach is looking at this device as an entry point access control element, screening for temperature, whether the person's wearing a mask or not, and then using that in conjunction with other credentials to create a really seamless and effective way of preventing infected or potentially carriers of the virus to be inside of a facility. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to say about it. I think I buzzed through it in 9 minutes. I think I made my 10-minute limit, but I'm certainly willing to entertain questions.
Yeah, we've got time for a couple questions if anybody has them.
Gil, I've got a couple questions for you. If a customer already has a ZK Access system, but it's not the NBio, can it still monitor the activity of this, or you have to use it as a standalone at that point?
What you can do is you can take the alarm outputs out of it right into the SMB series software, and there I believe that there's a method to actually get the card information in as well. I'd have to look into that, but it certainly can be used as a temperature and face mask detection device, and just taking outputs into the system. And by the way, on any system, those triggers, on the biosecurity software side, if you trigger a video capture of the event, that goes into the log of the biosecurity software, and there would be a pop-up video along with that log event when you looked it up within the biosecurity software. But to your question, yes, you can use this on the SMB software, and in fact, there is an upgrade path for that software to bring it up to the level of the biosecurity. So it would need to have some hardware changes as well, but I believe that there is a path to do that.
Okay, thank you. Then my second question, can these be powered up via power over Ethernet?
At this point, I'd have to look into that question. I don't believe that is any. I'm sure if it was an option, we'd see it right here on these bullet points, and I have not heard of a PoE option at this time.
Quick question. If I have an employee entrance, but I also have a lobby, how simple would it be to interact or integrate this system with another thermal camera system?
Well, give me a little more detail on how you want to implement it. You want to just add this as strictly not as an access control device, but just as a screening device, for instance?
Yes, so a screening device for my employees, but if I also have another entrance that has, massive flow, for instance, are you guys going to come out with a thermal that would interact as the same way as 30 people coming in a building, or is that not the case yet?
That is not the case at this point, no. You certainly can. I mean, there's ways to, if you're just, how are your thermal cameras communicating with any of your other access control systems, or is it?
What I'm trying to say is, so see, like another company would have a thermal camera, and I want to use you guys for my employees. How easy would those two systems interact with each other? Because you guys at the moment do not make thermal cameras.
If our system was being utilized for screening as a standalone, then it depends on whether you want to capture the information and record it and identify the users or not. If you're just trying to screen, then our device could be a local device, checking on your employees walking through the employee entrance, and just send out an alert without any connection to any system locally. Flip on a light, sound an alarm. There's a built-in voice into the system that can make the announcement that somebody's out of range. So it can certainly be deployed, but I would like to know more about that application in order to really give you a properly qualified answer.
I'm sorry to interrupt you guys, but I got to move it over to the next presenter since this is a pretty specific question. But I'm happy to hook you guys up with any of the information that you need for specific application questions like that at the end of the presentation.
Happy to do that.
Thank you so much, Gil.
Thank you.
That was
Just
excellent.
real quick, is that an American-made product?
These products are all manufactured in China. Tech support and everything else is in Alpharetta, Georgia.
Thank you.
Anything else before I move it over? Anybody have any questions for any last? All right.
This is Boris. Let me ask you a quick
Yeah, of
question.
course, Boris, of course.
Yeah, you know, you quickly mentioned some integrations on a video side. So some of that I heard is planned and some is implemented. Can you briefly describe what is already there and what is planned?
Sorry, the question's for me? I'm sorry, this is Gil. Yeah, the question was
Yeah,
for me.
this is for Gil. Yes, please.
Okay, so what I would say is that if you get an alarm from our system, from one of these readers, that could either trigger your NVR to record the event. If you have OnVIF cameras and you're using our biosecurity software, we can take that video and bring it directly into our security software in order to append it to the event log. So any OnVIF camera can be streamed and added to the biosecurity software as part of the data that it's acquiring for an event.
But as far as sharing metadata with other systems, it's not done and not planned, right?
Not at this time, no.
Got it. Thank you very much again.
All right, thank you, Gil. Now we're going to go over to Terry from UniView. Hey, Terry, you there?
I'm here.
Hi, Terry. I can hear you, but I can't see your slides.
Okay, let me share the content. You can see the screen. Hello, Jack. Can you guys see the screen?
I can see your screen, but I can't see your content. It's gray right now.
Give me 1 second. And now?
Yeah, it's up there. Thank you. Very clear.
So hello, guys. Welcome to join us today, and thanks CCTV.net for organizing the webinar. This is Terry from UniView, and UniView is a world-leading CCTV manufacturer from China, and we provide complete product line and the solution to our customers all over the world. We have 15 years history in CCTV market, and around 5 years ago, we stepped into the US market. So today, I introduce our brand new product line, HeatCheck series, which includes temperature measurement products and the solutions. Family of the HeatCheck solutions covering entry level to high level with different shapes and the features. Let's take a glance of these. You can see the face recognition terminal and the kit and the pole and the measurement gate with metal detection. And we also have the thermal camera systems. Let me introduce these one by one. So let's go to the first. As you can tell from the name, it's a temperature measurement face recognition terminal. It's a bundle of face recognition terminal and the temperature measurement module. The terminal, it has two 1080p cameras to capture the face and with a 7-inch LCD screen, so it can display all the face and the temperature info directly. Let's check this video out. So as the video shows, you stand in front of the terminal and put your wrist near to the sensor. Your face and the temperature will be both displayed on the screen. Meanwhile,
Hey Terry, I think you stepped away from your microphone. Your voice got really quiet for a second. Hey Terry, your voice is super quiet.
Terry, can't hear you. Can't really hear you.
Hey Terry, we can't really hear you.
Yeah, let's give Terry a chance. If not, there is a separate UniView webinar that covers pretty much all those pieces of equipment in more details. So let's see if we can get Terry back on the line. Otherwise,
His connection's still live. I think he just stepped away from his microphone.
yeah, but hopefully he can hear us and correct something. Okay, Jack, to try a little bit more, then maybe we'll wrap it up.
Hey Terry, I think if we can't figure out how to get your voice on here, we're gonna have to wrap it up. Okay. Yeah, I think we lost connection with Terry for that one. So we have another presentation from last week where UniView went into great depth covering all of the strengths and advantages of their thermographic systems. We'll send that to everybody participating in this as well so that they can use that for reference. I'm gonna close Terry's presentation here since his audio died. And I just wanted to say thank you. So thank you so much to all of our manufacturers who presented. If anybody wants to stick around for a little bit of Q&A here at the end, they're welcome to. But the bulk of the presentations is over. Thank you all so much for attending.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, it's kind of free for all now. If anybody has any questions, anything to share, well, let's do it now. All right, doesn't seem to be. Again, thank you very much. Okay, yes, please, go ahead, sir.
I want to say one other thing. They were asking about the black body being connected to the cameras. On the Aerocont one, it does not. So it just needs AC power just to provide it. It just needs to be in the field of view of the camera. But we don't need to have any physical wires, cables, or anything ran to the actual thermal camera in any way.
Yeah, we'll have to research the same thing for Dahua. I also do not believe it's actually connected to the camera. It does need to be connected to power source, but again, we'll research that before finalizing that answer.
Thank you guys for clearing up.
My question is to you guys, is there any U.S.-made solution that can qualify for Buy America at this time that we know of?
We are looking at a couple of them, so not American-made, but NDAA compliant, and also I know several manufacturers working off 510K FDA certification. I do not believe it will be American-made, but it can be sold to government because they're NDAA compliant, so they're not using any components from any banned manufacturers. As far as Buy American, we're still to see somebody to offer that. We're closely monitoring that. There is a lot of questions about that. So once again, everybody who participated in that webinar will keep you on loop on that. I know it's an important question, and we'll keep you updated.
Perfect. Thanks, Boris.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Any ideas, thoughts? If anybody implemented that, you can share it with us. We would glad to hear.
Boris, I had a quick question. Yeah, I don't know if there's anybody on that has implemented this, but has there been any feedback on the liability that some of these people might be taking on by implementing something like this?
Well, several of our integrators reached out to FDA, and the response was pretty much, you need to be a lawyer to read it exactly, but the idea is as long as you saying that measures you're taking is preliminary, so somebody's system detects elevated fever, so that only means that that person needs to be tested with an FDA-approved device. So if that is clarified, so essentially, if reading is elevated, doesn't mean anything but let's check the person with FDA-approved thermometer. You're fine. But if you are trying to do anything else with that, that may be a problem. So what we recommend, reach out to FDA, get your own answers, and then when you do market that, make sure that that it's clarified. So as you probably noticed during the presentation, several manufacturers refer to that. So never market as a medical device. I would take it a step further. So make sure that you do have FDA-approved thermometer at those checkpoints. And any actions like denying entry or anything else needs to be taken only on reading of from FDA-approved device. So that's my all personal recommendations. And I'm not a lawyer, but that's something I've heard other integrators got recommended by FDA.
Yeah, that's exactly kind of. We have a standard operating procedure that we help coach our dealers with as well. This is Travis with the Aerocont product. So if you guys decide you want to look at we have a more in-depth certification or training going on webinar with this as well. We can go over that and kind of how we're doing approaching that specific application and how the businesses should start implementing this to make sure that liability wise on both their fronts as well as your front as well are protected. And it's just about coaching them and providing the right terminology and solution and standard operating procedure on how they do it. So we'd be happy to help you guys design that and walk you through it so that way you're taken care of and making sure you're providing the right solution to your end users.
Thank you. And Jack, we are planning a Aerocont specific webinar, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So that will be separately announced, but it will be something Aerocont specific, and we'll go into details during that webinar. Anybody else? Any questions?
Boris, this is Steve McGlasson with Aerocont Vision. I just wanted to touch on that point there. We are doing daily webinars either for contractors and end users as well. We do have working demos up in 2 parts of the country. We also do have customers that have used it, have given us permission to use the video to actually show the system in action. I would suggest strongly is just to bring the end users, bring your contractors to the webinar. We're pretty flexible on scheduling these, and we can probably do it within an hour or less of an opportunity. So just reach out to either Travis, Ernie, or I, and we'll get that set up for you.
Absolutely. Thank you for that information.
You bet.
Hi, Boris. This is Sophia with Dawa. You are correct. So I gave you misinformation. So the black body, there's no cable that needs to connect to the thermal.
Yes. I assume so. Thank you for clarification, Sophia.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I know there is mentioned several times of coffee, hot chocolate not affecting the cameras. Provided we are still in the same mess come wintertime, here in the Northeast, will be below for several weeks straight. If somebody's outside for a long time, comes in, like the temperature of their clothing, stuff like that, how will that affect the systems?
It won't. With the Aerocon one, it won't. As I said, it's when the analytics are running, as long as the forehead is not covered in any way, it's not going to care about anything around so if you have a face covering, you have a cup of coffee, you're drinking, a cell phone at your ear, doesn't matter any of those aspects. It's just looking for your forehead temperature. So when the camera's doing the analytics, it's looking for the faces and then the forehead only, and it ignores everything else.
So then how does long hair affect that?
It'd still be a covering in a sense. I mean, I don't think it could skew it. I don't think, I'd have to talk to Matt, and if we got to figure out to see how that would work. But I haven't really had anybody that had a lot of bangs.
Travis, if it is cousin it that's walking into your location, we're going to have them move their hair back from at least a partial part of the forehead. So, and then to address the heat or the cold, I'm not so much sure on the cold front, but on the heat, there's been several questions about if you've got customers in the desert area where it reaches 100 to 1,520 degrees. We actually did a demo with a customer the other day, putting a hot water bottle of 140 degrees up. It roughly takes, depending on the temperature of the forehead as you're coming out of the heat, could take anywhere from 10, 15 or 20 seconds to reach ambient temperature. The great thing is about the human skin is it does reach room temperature very quickly. So we would suggest if you have people coming in to have a process set up to where they at least have 15, 20 seconds before they go through the camera. And if they do register high, you can always have them go through again. We do have a demo of that as well, of an end user making customers go through a couple of times just to show that you couldn't trick the system. So, but it does focus on the forehead. If you were to put a cup of coffee up to your mouth or a cell phone to your ear, it will not pick that up. If you put the hot water bottle up against your forehead, obviously it's going to pick that up, but the system does focus in on the temperature of the forehead.
Hi, Steve.
Hello.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm interested in your explanation because when you mentioned about the forehead measurement, are you referring to a thermography a device, a sensor, or a thermopile sensor, thermometer?
This is a thermal camera that is measuring the skin temperature of the forehead.
Okay. So do you have any chance to any experience for a thermopile sensor, the infrared thermometer based device?
Yeah.
Because,
So yeah. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah. So because if not mistaken, I saw the video footage of the from Uniview, and it seems that they're using some sort of thermopile sensor, but to measure the wrist area, not the forehead.
Measuring the wrist, and I assume that that's probably going off the skin temperature as well too, correct?
Yes, correct. But I couldn't find any reference. So do you have any information on that?
We do, and I can actually send. What we can do is we can send out all the information to Jack and his team and Boris, and then they can send it to you as well. We have cut sheets, spec sheets, data sheets, and again, I would suggest working with their team to set up a demo to see the system in action, because one of the things that Ernie did not do is go in depth on the CMS software, which is really the secret sauce, because it's we've got a lot of solutions that are like this that measure ambient room temperature with black body, and then also the skin temperature of the forehead or any other parts of the body. But where the system really comes in, where the secret sauce of the system is the CMS software, which gives you the facial recognition and also associates temperature readings as well as recording it, and giving you the ability to bring that into whether it's a standalone system or bringing that footage into a VMS. So as long as the VMS control or is able to do ONVIF profile or RTSP stream, and we do have a working model of it being brought into a VMS, the video footage with the temperature is recorded in the VMS. So we would love to show that system off and show you why the CMS software, the artificial intelligence software, makes the system and makes the difference.
Yeah, you run them both too simultaneously. So you'd have your CMS running as your event alert driver for your guard station, and then the we have up to 10 streams coming out of our camera, so we can push it to your VMS and anything else that you've got going on with your storage archivers, or however you got your customers' configuration on their existing camera setup, and you'll be able to see what that came out of our camera from their recorded history. But you'd have that one station set up for their CMS.
Okay, thank you very much again. I think we'll have to wrap it up at this point. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll make sure to rewatch that webinar, and we'll address all specific questions asked for particular integrators from particular manufacturers. Also, we'll follow up with appropriate prices. And once again, we'll connect everybody with everybody needed to be connected. So separate presentations will address more detailed questions. Again, thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Boris.
Boris, thank you guys for putting this together.
All right, thank you everyone so much. Have a nice day.
Thank you, guys. This has been a great opportunity. We're looking forward to the dedicated seminar.